Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on what I think is going to happen in Season 6 and what I want to happen in Season 6, because as you know, Season 6 is coming up very, very shortly. We have, of course, the Season 6 showcase on the 23rd, and yeah, it's just fast approaching, and it hopefully will be jam-packed with a bunch of stuff. But we don't really know anything about what's happening in it yet, apart from at least one thing, and that's kind of, I guess, what we're going to talk about first. There is going to be a new tank. And we kind of know what their profile picture is going to be because, well, we got some funny spoilers, or at least one spoiler anyways. It's Thunderbrush's profile picture showing the new tank, presumably. Which is interesting. It seems to be a female abyssal tank, and I know a lot of people are hoping that hopefully it will be a point tank, because we don't really have that many point tanks in Paladins. I mean, we have Barrack, Fernando, Inara. Some people argue Terminus, although Terminus is just kind of bad, so I wouldn't really recommend trying to like solo tank with him or anything. And then we have a few off tanks who kind of can be played like point tanks, but are still more off tanks than they are point tanks, like Makoa and Azan. And I'm of the opinion that this new tank, whatever her name is not going to be a point tank. I hope she is, but it really doesn't seem that way, just based on, you know, generally how she at least seems from the profile picture and kind of what the Abyss is known for. They're not exactly known for being very passive, and point tanks are more passive defensive tanks than they are, you know, aggressive tanks, and so it really just doesn't seem like it would be kind of in her character. And we know that Hi-Rez at least tries to make tanks that are sort of capable of doing both, at least with their somewhat recent tank design. Of course, it's hard to even say somewhat recent tank design because they've released a few tanks over the years. Like we have Azan, who is probably the closest to this this idea of being both a point tank and an off tank. Because yeah, he can kind of just do whatever he wants. He's certainly not like the best point tank, especially he is not a point tank in the sense of like Fernando, Barrack, or Nar is. But he can do that way better than a lot of off tanks can, like Rom, more like Yaggroth, who was the last tank they released before Azan, who definitely cannot point tank. she totally flopped in that department. And so while I really do hope that she is a point tank, I really don't think that it's going to be the case. I think she'll be kind of another hybrid like Azan, and we really, and I mean really, have to make sure that she does not enter the game in the same overpowered state as Azan, alright? They are going to have a PTS. Obviously, that they have a PTS for every patch cycle. And when they do release the PTS, and we do get to test this tank, we need to be on the ball with giving feedback and making sure that she is not overpowered. Alright? You hear me? It's your responsibility, my responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility, it's Evil Mojo's responsibility, and they rely on our feedback, right? Ultimately, they can test them all they want, but yeah, our feedback is really helpful for helping to nerf the tanks or buff the tanks if needed. And so, yeah, we got to make sure that she is not overpowered, because I don't think this game can handle another Azan, at least in terms of how Azan was released, because Azan was released as an extraordinarily overpowered character, and to this day, he is the character who was the most overpowered on release. And ultimately, I think he's in actually a pretty good state now. He seems to be decently balanced. He's very fun. I actually really enjoy his kit. But yeah, I mean, on release, he caused a lot of people to leave, and we cannot let that happen again. So we need to make sure that we give good feedback, and hopefully this tank will be fun. But yeah, I don't think she'll be a point tank. I think she'll be a hybrid like Azan. And if she is a hybrid, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of excited for that. Because yeah, I mean, another point tank, as much as it's needed, it would probably also be kind of boring. Fernando, Barrack, and Inara are not exactly known within the community for being very fun tanks. Even though there is fun to be had with them, I'd argue it's much more fun to play someone like Ruckus, or Makoa, or Azan. So, you know, it's nice to just have options, and I hope that she is very good for that. Next up, let's talk about skins, because of course, there's going to be skins. There's skins in every update, and of course, it's the start of a new season, so there will probably be a lot of skins. And I kind of just want to throw some shots out there and see if I can get any hits on predictions for new skins. And also I'm going to say what I want skins for. I predict we'll probably hopefully finally get a Caspian skin, because he has not gotten a skin yet since his release. He has Skin and Bones, which is a Skull and Bones, excuse me, which is a recolor. And it's a very nice recolor, but it's a recolor nonetheless. He does not have a true skin. Not in the sense of, it changes how he looks in a meaningful fashion, and he's basically just another character, kind of like, I don't know, just randomly looking through
Shaolin.
skins here, like Crime Fighter Shaolin, for
Shaolin.
example, or Omega.
Shaolin.
So yeah, I really want to see something like that for Caspian.
Caspian.
And as much as I still really want him to get like a true dripped out pirate skin with a proper cutlass and a proper flintlock and something like that, not kind of just a pirate-ish skin like this one, he's probably not going to get that. And I can't really tell you anything whatsoever regarding the theme of the skins next patch. I hope it's a good theme. I hope it's way better than the first event pass of Season 5, which of course was, I think, the Abyss Hunter Academy, which sucked, like, really hard. Like, it was awful. Like, we got this skin. Not only does Maeve not need skins, but this is just a really garbage skin. Like, it sucks. It looks horrible. She looks... I don't want to play this character. Let's see. I do hope it's better than that. I also predict that we'll get a Pip skin, because it's been a very long time since Pip got a skin. Believe it or not, his last skin was a remix for Pepper, which, I mean, for some reason, this still just seems recent to me. I don't know why, but yeah, it's also pretty high-quality skin, too, at least in terms of, like, you got a bunch of animated textures, and, I mean, the model and textures are generally high quality, and so I guess it just kind of slips my mind to something that was created 5 years ago at this point. I believe this was a 2018 release. So it's been a very long time since Pip has gotten a skin, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pip skin that comes out next season, assuming there is a Pip skin coming out in Season 6, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the ranked reward, because, well, the past few ranked seasons, we've had a skin for a character who has not gotten a skin in a while. This season, of course, it was Willow. Last season, it was Torvald. The season before that, it was Evie. And so, I mean, just keeping with that trend, it would make sense that the Pip skin, if there is indeed a Pip skin, would be the season reward for ranked. So, yeah, maybe that'll be a thing. Again, I don't know what theme skin it would be. Honestly, it'd be kind of cool if it was the corrupted Pip skin, because there's a corrupted Pip avatar somewhere in here that kind of is, I guess, just generally along the theme of, this corrupted aesthetic with Io. And yeah, oh wait, no, here it is, right here. Yeah, it's right here. It looks like this, and it looks pretty wicked. And it would be nice to have more corrupted skins, honestly, because the corrupted event pass was, in my opinion, easily the best event pass of Season 5. And so, hey, I'd be a big fan if something like that got added to the game. Dark, corrupted Pip? Sign me up, that'd be amazing. We could actually see another Zin skin, because the teasers that they've been showcasing on, I guess, their Twitter, which I thought these two were the same teaser for a second. But yeah, these kind of teasers they've been showing on their Twitter reveal that Zin is the leader of the Resistance, which I still don't understand how he managed to become the leader of the Resistance, considering he's a tyrant and kind of a brutal warlord. But yeah, maybe since he's the leader of the Resistance now, he'll get a skin. In fact, maybe what we could see is that Leon and Zin both get a skin because they're the new leaders of their respective, I guess, factions. And yeah, I mean, it would kind of, I guess, make sense with this new lore that they're doing, which just seems to be returning to the old lore in the sense of, well, hey, the Darkness arc is over because Azan just Deus Ex Machina'd Yaggaroth out of existence. Let's just go back to fighting each other over crystals. So, yeah, maybe we'll get that. That's, I guess, kind of my final prediction for just, like, regular skins. But then also, of course, we need to talk gold skins. It's actually been a while since we've had gold skins added to the game, and I really do expect they'll at least add some gold skins. My hope is that they will add all the gold skins. There are 4 gold skins left that need to be added to the game. We have Evie, Zin, Khan, and Fernando. All of these guys still have yet to receive their gold skin, and the way I expect them to do it is, at least, if they stick with the pairs of 2 like they've been doing, I expect them to release Fernando and Khan together. I expect them to release Zin and Evie together, just because they're, of their respective classes. And I mean, we could see either of them. It's kind of a coin toss. Given my luck, it'll probably be Fernando and Khan getting their gold skins at the start of Season 6, but at the same time, again, with this new lore, maybe it'll be Zin and Evie, because, well, hey, Zin is leader of the Resistance, right? He gets a shiny new gold skin? Haha, yeah. Or maybe they'll really make me sad, and they'll do, like, Zin and Fernando or something, and Evie will just be left in the dust yet again. I really do hope she gets her skin, and honestly, I don't see why they couldn't just get all the gold skins released because there are so few of them left. And, I mean, heck, you guys know I've already made my own Eevee Gold skin, and that's, I mean, we're coming up on a year that I've had that skin just made already. It just in Blender. And so, yeah, I mean, I really hope they just finally finish them all off, and then maybe go back and tweak some of them later. Like, not necessarily, at the start of the season, but at least at some point, because we have really old and bad gold skins like Golden Furia, which desperately needs a rework. This was the first gold skin they ever added, and you can tell they clearly went in a different direction after this, because this is just a gray skin. Like, there's so much black, there's so much gray, there's basically no gold on it. So yeah, it would just be really nice to see some reworks to old skins like these. And of course, I mean... Please. Please. You did Shaolin so dirty. He needs a rework, too. He needs his gold skin reworked. It's so bad. And I maintain my position that if Eevee's skin is equally as bad as Shaolin's skin, I quit. Just flat out, I quit. I made a better gold skin than Shaolin's gold skin for Eevee, and if they somehow manage to screw up Eevee's gold skin, then... bye. But I really don't think they'll do that, honestly. So what other stuff can we expect from Season 6? Well, they'll probably hit us with something that we didn't see coming at all. Perhaps a new game mode that we can't even really describe yet. But of course, my hope is that if they do add a game mode to the game, that it is, in fact, not a new game mode, but an old game mode, Payload. I mean, geez, how long have we, the fans, been asking for Payload now? Feels like it's been years because it has been years. And, well, if they add that in Season 6... like, they just straight up re-add Payload. Don't even change it from how it used to be. Just add the same old maps, add the game mode back the way it was. My goodness, this would actually be, like, one of the best seasons ever. And if they do that, like, genuinely, I would be so thrilled. And I know a lot of people would be so, so happy. But I really doubt that they're going to do that. I don't know, man. Like, it seems like they've just it seems like they've just decided not to do that at this point. Like, they've had so long to add it back, and they just haven't. And yeah, I mean, maybe they won't even add any, like, new game mode. Of course, they did the Seas Beyond Schisms in Season 5, and that kind of flopped, and they stopped halfway through the season. So, I mean, yeah, maybe they've just given up on new game modes entirely. Or maybe they will surprise us and add a new game mode, and maybe they will completely blow our expectations and actually add Payload back to the game. I would really, really hope so. I desperately want to play that again. It would be so nice. But yeah, I mean, you never know. And there is also, of course, the expectation of balance. What can we expect from the balance department? What are they going to tweak? What are they going to do? Well, you guys already know part of what I want from Season 6. I want a Sky rework. I mean, if you haven't seen my video already, please go check that out, because I go into detail about why Sky sucks and why she needs a rework if she wants to truly be in a healthy, balanced state. She really, really needs something, and I hope that they balance her out and actually spend the time and resources to make her a better character. But, heck, with how they've treated her in the past, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets another nerf. Like, hey, Debilitate now increases the rate at which you do damage by 50%. Yeah! Woo! Let's go! Bye, Sky. You don't exist anymore. Also, they're probably going to address Kasumi in some way, because she's just... she never should have been added to the game in the first place. I am of that opinion. She has some potential with the spirit lore. I think the spirit lore is still a really cool gimmick. And it's also exciting to have another crowd control effect in the game. Of course, disarming, that's something interesting. But apart from that, this character's a joke. And I hope to see her auto-aim reduced even further, because I know that's the big, like, issue that people have, especially in casuals with Kasumi. In fact, only in casuals with Kasumi, because she's not in ranked. But, like, I guess by casuals, I mean, like, the casuals, where, like, people aren't really, like, trying that hard. Or, you know, people just are not, like, super crazy good at the game, because Kasumi just takes the skill out of the game. She can be played by someone who has, you know, maybe 25% accuracy on their weapon shots and doesn't really know how to time their attacks, and she can turn them into a monster that carries the lobby, because, you know, they don't really need to do anything other than hold left click and look in the general direction of people. It's just horrible game design. She's simultaneously the most casual character because anyone can play her and do good, and also the least casual, like, friendly character because she just ruins casuals for anyone who wants to have fun. Because she takes it from being on a fair playing field where everyone has pretty average to bad aim to just being completely one-sided in her favor, and it's so bad. So I would love to see that reworked, or at the very least nerfed to the point that she's irrelevant. Unlike Sky, I actually would be totally fine if this character never sees the light of day ever again and just becomes the worst character in the game for like the rest of her existence. But, I mean, they probably won't do that because I'm definitely looking at it from a biased perspective. But, I mean, she's got to be touched in Season 6, right? It only makes sense. We could also see some bad talents get reworked or potentially buffed. For example, Grover's Deep Roots is useless. Nobody uses this talent. It doesn't even really work. And so we could see this talent reworked yet again, or perhaps buffed in some way. And just a friendly reminder, Evil Mojo Studios, Hi-Res Studios, the devs who I know watch my channel sometimes, you promised us that we would be able to see Grover's radius in first person. In fact, let me show you. You promised us we'd be able to see Grover's radius in first person. And then you didn't follow through on that promise, all right? And I still remember that. We still remember that. You still have to fix that, okay? You can't just make a promise and then not fulfill it like that, okay? Check this out. Wow, look, there's no radius. You want to see what the radius looks like? Well, you can see it on your horse for some reason. Ah, yes, this is very helpful. Now I can press Blossom on my horse and know when they are in my radius. But then I leave my horse and it disappears. You gotta add that back, okay? This is your friendly reminder. You still have time to fix this, okay? Do it. Please, do it. But yeah, other talents that they may just decide to look at and potentially rework or buff or change in some way. Maybe Oppression Kinessa could be changed because, well, this talent has fallen by the wayside because it's just dumb. It's another Kasumi style talent that's just like, oh, this shouldn't be in the game. this was a mistake. I appreciate them at least trying it, but it ultimately turned out to be a bad idea, and it probably should be changed again. They could, in fact, go back to the old Eagle Eye, but actually try and buff that. I'm still kind of salty that they never gave that talent a fair shake. They added it to the game, and then just didn't do anything with it for 6 months, or however long it was, and then just reworked it instead of actually trying to buff it and make it good. Which sucks, because it was an interesting playstyle. It was kind of like Octavia, but not Octavia at the same time. What other talents could maybe be changed? I mean, it would just be nice to see some reworks given out to, like, stuff that nobody uses. Like, another talent that could be reworked is Unnatural Persistence, which... yes, let's heal up while we're on the objective. Because Yaggroth is a point tank, right? Oh yeah, and since it's healing, like it's just horrible by late game, and you're losing out on Side Beget Strength and Corrosive Acid by picking this talent. Oh yeah, great talent. No, that should be reworked as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets touched, because we've seen them give massive reworks out to like a bunch of talents before, like in Season 3, for example. I know a lot of stuff got changed, and so we could see that again, depending on how ambitious they are. It could be a few talents, it could just be like 1 or 2 talents, or it could be a lot of them. But, yeah, I mean, those are a few talents that I certainly would like to see touched. And yeah, otherwise, I don't think there will be a lot that'll actually be, like, super hard nerfed in any way, shape, or form. Because I don't feel like there's a lot of stuff that's, like, overly, like, overpowered right now. It's not like Androxus is still, like, like, super overpowered. Although we would still like to see Curse Revolver just removed for something different, because this talent was just a bad idea. Personally, I would like to see the entire rework reverted, because I think Godslayer and Defiant Fist benefited more from the old Revolver. Defiant Fist actually objectively benefited more from the old Revolver, and also the Defiant Fist cards got gutted. It would be nice to see those reverted as well, because these are basically useless now. So it'd be nice to see that changed. But yeah, like, what else is, like, even super overpowered right now? Like, not a lot really comes to mind. There is strong stuff, yes, but it doesn't really feel like the game is in a state right now where, like, oh my god, Androxus is in every game and he's always getting top kills by 15 and it's just so painful. It doesn't feel like any character is like that right now. Of course, another thing we could see kind of changed in the balance department is items, because the item store is not in a healthy state at the moment. It's never really been in a healthy state, to be totally fair, but there's some stuff that definitely needs attention. Like, whoops. Yeah, like Guardian, for example. Who unironically buys this item? Who? Do you do it? You, Derek, watching my video. Shout out if I just spooked you. um, yeah, nobody uses Guardian. And if they do use Guardian, usually they're quickly taught why they shouldn't use Guardian, because it just gets completely outclassed by Wrecker. 30% increased damage to shields versus 8% increased shield health. You do the math. This completely dwarfs this. Especially on characters like, Tyra or Octavia, who have absurdly high single-target DPS that can just melt through these shields like butter. So Guardian is useless, and I would expect to either see it buffed or reworked into something different. I'm not honestly sure what they could rework it into. I don't have ideas specifically for Guardian, but yeah, it would certainly be interesting to see this item touched, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the items that does get touched. Veteran also would be another item that I would love to see reworked, actually. Not even buffed or nerfed, just reworked. And Haven with it as well. I wouldn't rework Haven, I would just make it, like, a little bit cheaper, like back down to the 300 that it was, because I really don't like having an item that's this expensive. I don't like inflation affecting the Paladins market, necessarily, so, but yeah, Veteran is just unhealthy, right? Because we have Haven and Veteran. They basically do the same thing. They increase your effective hit points. Veteran just increases your hit points, and thus your effective hit points, but it's just worse than Haven. In basically every circumstance, the only reason why you would pick it over Haven is because it's cheaper. But at this point, both of them are ridiculously expensive. It's better just to go for Haven anyways. Because, yeah, Veteran, it actually makes you take more damage from percent-based damage attacks like Tyra's Fire, Sky's Poison Bolts, etc. Because, yeah, they scale off of your maximum HP. So if you increase your maximum HP, you're actually taking more damage, and thus it's actually harder to heal that back up. So, yeah, that's just bad. And then, yeah, Haven also makes your healing even more effective, on top of the fact that it simply makes the enemies do more damage, or have to do more damage to kill you. Because if you take 18% less damage from an attack, right? Say someone hits you for 1,000 damage, you take 18% less of that, then that's, 82 or 820 damage now that you've just taken. Well, now you only have to heal back 820 HP instead of 1,000 HP because of your damage reduction. So, pound for pound, Haven is just far better than Veteran. So I would like to see Veteran removed and replaced with something different, and then we only have Haven, right? So we don't have two items that just both do the same ththing, increasing your effective HP. Because bear in mind, you can also just dump all your credits into buying both of these, and they'll just become absurdly tanky. So yeah, it's such an unhealthy dynamic to have these two. You could revert Veteran back to its previous state of being something that increases your out-of-combat healing, but then it would also need to do more, right? And it would also need to be cheaper. Like, instead, it could also make it so that, like, hey, maybe out-of-combat healing happens faster, which also could pair with some extremely niche cards, like that one card Sky has. Or you could make Veteran also, yeah, just be an item that gives you increased movement speed while you're out of combat, or, any number of different things, but in its current state, it's just super unhealthy. If I recall correctly, Rejuvenate is still bugged to be 8%, right? Instead of 10%. I don't remember. Comment down below if that's correct, or if I'm misremembering, because I don't remember. And Lethality, it might also be just changed in some way. I don't know. Despite all the stuff that this item does, I still don't see it picked up as much. I at least appreciate that it's certainly far better than Provision. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they really can do with this. Honestly, I kind of avoid buying this item because of the jump height. I thought the jump height was interesting at first, but it really just seems like a weird gimmick and something that throws me off at this stage in the game. Like, if I just go over here and get a kill real quick, I'm going tinkering. I didn't even realize. Bam! Like, it's just like I turned moon gravity on for a second, and it kind of throws me off. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if removing that would be a buff more than it would be a nerf. And yeah, it's just kind of another one of those weird items. But yeah, like, those would be the three that I would expect to see touched. Veteran, Lethality, Guardian. And I would hopefully touch all of these. But yeah, that is just about everything that I expect to be touched in Season 6. All the skins, all the balance changes, the new champion, of course, and hopefully a new game mode. They could also just completely surprise us with some other random thing that I wouldn't even think of, some new system or some new thing, just completely affecting some anything really. Like it doesn't even necessarily have to be like a game mode or a champion or whatever. Just I don't know. They could make it so that event pass levels are cheaper, or they could add a whole new store or something like that, like they did with the bounty store. I don't know. But yeah, like just generally speaking, the things that I can predict, that's kind of what I have predicted in this video. And so let me know your thoughts about Season 6 and what you expect to see in Season 6 down in the comment section down below. And also, let me know what you think of my predictions for Season 6. Am I right? Am I wrong? I guess we'll find out, right? In a few days here. So, yeah, also make sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I will be, of course, covering the new update on the PTS when it comes out. And also, I will be covering the update show on Twitch. So, yeah, just follow me in all the places. Links are in the description to all that. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out. Hey.